Good morning, everyone. This is Lieutenant Colonel Barb Costa. I'm the commander here at the 14th Weather Squadron. Thank you all for dialing in on the phone and on DCS. We have a great webinar in store for you today, and we have some wonderful professionals to deliver it. Captain Anthony, Sergeant Phobes, and Sergeant Monk will be your moderators today, and I appreciate your time and attention for this webinar today, and I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Captain Anthony. Thanks again for dialing in. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, ma'am, for the intro. As she said, I'm Captain Anthony. Welcome to the 14th Weather Squadron's first quarter 2016 webinar. Today we'll discuss the current and projected phase of the El Nino Southern Oscillation, the current and projected state of the climate with respect to temperature, precipitation, and drought. We'll discuss some recent support assistance requests, and we'll close with a preview of the new climate.af.mil website. I'm fortunate to have a really sharp crew with me today. Sergeant Phobes is from our weather exploitation team. She works on the climate monitoring, analysis, and prediction section. Tech Sergeant Monk is from our climate analysis section, and she works with the team to answer SARs. Jumping right in, here's a breakdown of present El Nino conditions. Sea surface temperatures are currently roughly 2 degrees Celsius warmer than normal across the equatorial Pacific Ocean. But it's important to note the anomaly from early January to early February is negative, especially as we approach the South American coastline. It's because of this cooling trend that the Climate Prediction Center projects our transition from El Nino into a neutral phase later in the Northern Hemisphere summer. Many of the models are projecting a transition to La Nina conditions this fall. However, we'd like to caution you, there's a chance that a recovery could occur along the equatorial Pacific, and we could go into a second straight year at El Nino conditions. This is based on past occurrences. In the last webinar, we had some questions on the Pacific Decadal Oscillation. Quickly, the PDO is a lot like the ENSO in that it exists on a large scale and appears to have a time-based signature, but that's about where the comparisons end. PDO generally occurs on a 15 to 30 year time scale, whereas ENSO occurs on an 18 to 24 month time scale, and its signature largely affects the Northern Pacific and North America. We appear to have entered a warm phase of the PDO in early 2014, and the index has been consistently positive every month since September 2014. The scale on the top is the oscillation dating back to 1900, and the scale on the bottom is a quick reference to what to expect based on current phase. February 2016's index is a positive 0.8, which provides an explanation for warmer temperatures across the Pacific Northwest and much of the northern tier of North America, as well as a theoretical explanation for this season's strong El Nino signature. Images are courtesy of the University of Washington and NOAA. Staff Sergeant Phobes is going to give you a quick rundown of current and projected temperature, precipitation, and drought trends.
Good morning. As Captain Anthony said, I'm Staff Sergeant Phobes, and I will be going over temperature, precipitation, and drought trends, as well as a 3-month outlook. Overall, temperatures were above normal in the month of January, especially in the Arctic region and Siberia. Warmer than average conditions were seen in northern South America, Western Africa, Western Europe, and the Middle East. Colder than average temperatures were seen in the Southeast United States, Eastern Europe, Central Africa, and Central Asia. In the month of January, you can see here that there was some El Nino-like signatures in the Pacific Ocean. You can see there's increased precipitation along the equatorial Pacific. Above normal precipitation was seen in parts of South America, specifically in eastern Brazil and the Pacific Ocean side of South America, which is also an El Nino-like signature. Eastern Africa, Northern Asia, specifically in Siberia, and Southeast Asia. Below normal precipitation was seen in the northern South America, the Middle East, as well as Saudi Arabia, Central America, and North and South Korea. Even though there was an increase in precipitation in Southeast Asia, it was not enough to relieve the drought conditions in that area. South America and Central America still continue to see extreme to exceptional drought conditions. Drought conditions improved in western United States, western Russia, eastern Brazil, and parts of eastern Africa. Drought intensified in Central and South Africa, as well as parts of the Middle East, especially in Iran and Saudi Arabia, and these areas also had large deficits in precipitation during the month of January. According to the North American Multi-Model Ensemble, for the next 3 months for temperature, expected to be above normal across the globe, especially in northern North America and the Arctic region. For the 3-month outlook for precipitation, according to the North American Multi-Model Ensemble, above normal precipitation is expected in parts of Central America, northern South America, eastern Africa, the Korean Peninsula, and Japan. Deficits are expected to occur in the northern half of Brazil, western Africa, South Africa, and Southeast Asia, including the Philippines. Drought in the short term is expected to intensify in southern Africa. This is a concern because according to the famine early warning system, market supplies for food is constrained there. Expect drought conditions to improve in the western United States and western Russia. Drought conditions are still expected to persist in Central America as well as northern South America, even with the more than normal precipitation expected in Venezuela and Colombia. This is also a concern because according to the famine early warning system, food supplies is also in constraints there. Next, Tech Sergeant Monk will go over the recent tailored support requests.
Hello, I'm Tech Sergeant Monk, and today I will highlight some recent SARs. The first recent SAR is a request from Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota's weather flight. The weather flight received this request from the base's maintenance squadron to help justify their need for the use of four-wheel snow removal equipment. Their justification will be sent up to MATCOM level, so we were able to provide them with all available snowfall data recorded for Minot since 1959. The second recent SAR involved the need to know for what were the maximums, minimums, and means concerning the temperatures for Al Dhafra, located in the United Arab Emirates. We put together one of our most popular tailored products called the Bullseye. With the Bullseye product, it is easily identifiable what the highest and lowest of each max, min, and mean temperature ranges for any given hour of the day, broken into 5-day increments throughout a 12-month period for any given annual time frame. This bullseye will be fed into the F-15E takeoff and landing thresholds based on high surface temperatures, which impact how much fuel and how many bombs can be loaded onto each aircraft, which in turn allows the flying community leadership to prepare the battle space appropriately for upcoming hotter summer months by preparing and accounting for this limiting factor ahead of time. The third recent SAR request centered around 5 worldwide locations that include Djibouti, Mbuli, Djibouti, Kisangani, Simisini, Democratic Republic of Congo, Manila, Philippines, Camp Humphrey, South Korea, and Kabul, Afghanistan. This customer needed to know the percent frequency of ceiling and visibility conditions in accordance with Federal Aviation Administration FAA thresholds for low instrument flight rules, marginal visual flight rules, and visual flight rules broken up between day and nighttime hours. The number of days was added for how many sand, dust, and thunderstorm days occurred as well. This data will be used to determine how often the visibility and/or cloud ceilings are too low for manned aircraft operations, but therefore signaling that unmanned aircraft could operate instead. This information is a key component for an internal Massachusetts Institute of Technology Lincoln Laboratory study of unmanned casualty evacuation, CASEVAC, using U.S. Army helicopters. This study indirectly supports the sponsor, Major General Michael Lundy, Commander, Army Aviation Center of Excellence. The final recent SAR required an update to one of our existing products. Previously, our cyclone tracker image looked stretched out and would only show the speed of a cyclone when it was nearest the location of interest. So we improved the existing product by using an updated database called IBTRACS, which stands for International Best Track Archive for Climate Stewardship, that is available at NCEI, or National Centers for Environmental Information. The IBTRACS database is updated through 01 May 2015 and now includes Far East typhoons. With using this program, we updated the word hurricane in the title and changed it to tropical storms to better reflect the generic application on our product. Also, the program has been designed to calculate extent of tracks and adjust map boundaries, which eliminates all or most of the image stretching I spoke about earlier. Finally, we were able to generate two images, one where the star is colored to match the highest storm wind speed when within X amount of miles of the latitude and longitude given, and another where the max speed is closest at point of approach. These are just a few examples of what our climate analysis team can do to provide you with what data you need. An important thing to keep in mind is that we generally can help you better if we have as much information as possible and we know what you're trying to do. If you need to submit a SAR, go to our website at the top of the slide, hover over the Request Support tab, and then click on Submit Support Request or call us. We look forward to hearing from you.
All right, finally, here's a quick preview for the new website layout. I know this is what you've all been waiting for. Our team is working on this as we speak, so unfortunately I can't give you a hard date on this, but you can expect a late spring rollout of the new climate.af.mil website. The layout is expected to look very similar to this in its final form. The goal is to streamline the website in a user-friendly environment designed for ease of use. If you're feeling the groove, I can show you how to get to seasonal projections of the North American Multi-Model Ensemble temperature projection, which we showed earlier, on your own. From the home screen, clicking Climate Prediction Season 5, that's just 3 clicks, and it gets you the June, July, August air temperature anomaly for the entire globe. If we pause here for a second, look at our options. Temperature, precipitation, drought, different regions, and different seasons. You can build your own local climatology for yourself or for your customers with just a few clicks based on region. But we can't anticipate everything you need or what you may be interested in exploring, so please continue to hit us up for support. In your DCS window, you'll find a link to download our feedback form. We're always interested in your thoughts on what you'd like and what you'd like to see in the future. We're exploring some changes in the future, and everything's on table with respect to content and delivery format. If you have any questions on today's webinar, please contact us. The next session is this evening at 23Z, and the next webinar is scheduled for Wednesday, 25 May 2016. This concludes our webinar. We'll hang out on the line for 5 minutes with any questions.